So UFC 312 just took place. Dricus versus Strickland. I'm hyped as fuck. I went 10-3-1, and the reason I'm hyped is because I said this card would clarify to me that MMA is the most retarded sport alive besides cricket, or statistics actually work in MMA. I went 10-3-1, one being the draw, and I'm hyped. Let's just get into it. Anshul Jabli, India's Captain America, India's #1 mascot, India's #1 guy. They hype him up all the time. He folds like a fucking blanket. He he folds like a fucking blanket to Quinlan, which I said he would. I said it'd be a decision though. I didn't expect him to go out like this. It's fucking. This is somehow worse than what I expected from him. I expected from him to crumble under the pressure because he's not a bad fighter. I basically called him soy. I called him soy, a bitch in every fucking way possible. And he upped the ante on me. He said, you think I'm a bitch? I'm going to go down at one punch. I This is India's #1 guy. This is the best thing. I feel bad for India. I hate India. I fucking hate India. I hate cricket. I hate everything about it. I hate their food, their fighters. I'm not going to say their people because then I'm racist. But you can add that. Fuck, yeah, they're people. I hate India. I think everybody does, right? Anshul Jabli was the best thing they had besides cricket, and I already think cricket's retarded. And I feel bad for India. I feel bad for India. You guys have nothing compared to MMA. Like, you have nothing in MMA, boxing, soccer. India's the worst league in soccer. Football, you got fucking nothing. And I know that sounds like a rant. Let me get into the actual fight. Quinlan walked up to him, knocked him out instantly. Anshul Jabli had nothing, didn't do anything. India's #1 prospect. What do you know? I actually like this card a lot. Jonathan Mikolov versus Kevin Gisette. I'm never betting on a French guy. If there's another country I hate, it's France. I hate their country. I hate their accent. I hate their soccer, how they dominated soccer forever. Fuck them. Their accent's horrible. The accent's literally just them spitting in your fucking face. It's disgusting. And, I actually thought Kevin Gisette was a good boxer. He is, but Kevin Gisette is he's the most inconsistent fighter I've seen. He has good boxing, he has good performances, but he somehow just loses. Jonathan Mikolov, let me actually give you some credit. Great body kicks. If you look at Kevin Gisette's body, great marks, great everything. I'm never betting on a French guy. I hate France and India. But yeah, a great win by Jonathan. I think he was he was an underdog. It was a great win. Kevin just didn't really have anything for him on the feet. 2-1. 2-1. Yeah, I'll say that. This this fight this is the skill gap in MMA. This is the fucking skill gap. If you're a predictor, this is the skill gap. If you did good, you're a good predictor. If you did trash, it means that you probably just believed all the hype on everybody. This was the fucking skill gap. I went Rongju. I told y'all go Rongju. Cody Steele's dog shit. His striking isn't good. He has no defense. He gasses out. His takedown selection isn't good. And Rongju's a great counter striker. I love Asians. I fucking love Asians. As a white guy, I love Asians. The men, the women especially. They just they entertain, bro. Like it's everything about them. It's fucking great. Their culture, everything. This is a country I like. China, Asia in general is just a country I like. Not country. I'm not a fucking retard. My bad. Not country. But it's like, I told y'all Cody Steele was dog shit. I told you he was Down syndrome. I told you he was everything that you don't like. His grappling isn't that good. People hype up his grappling so much. His grappling isn't that good as long as you know what you're doing. Which you should because you're an MMA fighter. Wrong as you prove that. Rongju had better striking, landed the better shots. Nice 2-1 against Cody Steele. I told y'all to do that. Great underdog pick. I said he was my underdog. I'm happy. I chose Taporia. I chose him knockout because I thought, power. He has the power. Throughout the whole fight, he'll do it. He didn't knock him out. He was very close in round 1, if I remember correctly. He was very close. This guy's good. This guy's good. I mean, I was a little questionable because, everybody he's fought is, actual dog shit bums that I could feed fucking... They'll fight for McDonald's at this point. Everybody he fought was dog shit. But Colby's not bad. It's just short notice fight. You know how it is. We don't know how actually good he is, but he showed great flashes of technique. He looks good. And if it's I like Georgia too. I love Georgia. If it's another Georgian champion, I don't give a fuck. Ilya Topuria, the Topuria brothers, Merab. I'm going to be riding Alexander Topuria's dick. We need another Georgian champion. Fuck the Cliff Dwellers. I know Colby's not a Cliff Dweller, but fuck the Dagestanis. Fuck the Dagestanis. We don't need that shit. Another Topuria, another Merab. I don't give a fuck. We need one of those. Wayne Kong versus Bruno Brazil. Wayne Kong dominated her. Bruno Brazil had nothing. I said Wayne Kong would dominate her because Bruno Brazil only has good kicks, and she barely threw kicks. It was domination. Domination every way. Wayne Kong, I know I'm saying her name wrong, but it's how you say it in English, and I'm American. It is what it is. Yeah, Wayne Kong, like I said, I love my Asian woman, my Chinese people. I don't give a fuck. She dominated Bruno Brazil. Bruno Brazil had nothing. Had absolutely nothing for her. Cowered away, but you're not going to wrestle. You're not going to shoot a single takedown attempt against someone who's an elite kickboxer who just got choked out. You're not going to throw a head kick. I mean, she gets caught off guard multiple times because she's very cocky. Very patient, though. She was very patient until the third round. She got hit with a couple stuff. I know, second round, my bad. Second round, she got hit with a couple stuff. Bruno Brazil is fast. Bruno Brazil is good. But she's retarded. The whole... I can't even blame her camp. She has the best camp. The Fighting Nerds camp is the best. I don't know if they were just so confident in her. I don't know if they told her to do a takedown and she just didn't do anything. And she had the audacity to start posing as if she won, as if she did fucking anything after the fight. I like Bruno Brazil. I do like Bruno Brazil. I think she has a lot of talent, a lot of potential. Great camp. Don't be a retard. You gotta wrestle. You gotta wrestle against a kickboxer. It's common fucking sense. Tom Nolan versus Borshev. I chose Tom Nolan. This was probably the worst fight on the card. Probably the worst fight on the card. Tom Nolan laid on the ground a decent amount, maybe 30% of the card. And honestly, even when Borshev was on top, I will say Tom Nolan was winning that fight. Elbows on the bottom, hooks on the bottom. He cut open Borshev on the bottom. He landed that great up kick that rocked Borshev. It's like... It was good. I mean, he was just smart. He was just very smart. Even odds. I went Tom Nolan. I thought he'd be able to get more work done, be a better grappler and better boxer. And he really showed ground game. Ground game. I'll get into that fucking later. But great job by Tom Nolan. Great striking bout, but like I said, when he got to the ground, it was kind of no submission game really. I think Borshev pulled a leg lock that he was very much squeezing for. He was very much look. Leg locks don't work. Leg locks are so easy to defend. Even if you don't know how to defend it properly, you should be flexible enough to get out of a leg lock. They're very easy. The only thing with leg locks is they can completely destroy your leg, but they're very easy to defend. Same with guillotines. We'll get into that later. But I got that one right. Jack Jenkins versus Gabriel Santos. I knew Gabriel Santos was great. I knew that if your only losses are to Lerone Murphy and David Onama, that's not bad at all. I thought Jack Jenkins striking would be able to actually rock him and finish him, or at least make the bigger moments so he can go to decision. Jack Jenkins, I was kind of right. He got a head kick, knocked down Gabriel Santos, and Gabriel Santos just completely took over. Jack Jenkins had nothing. He said walking out to the fighter meet, he wants to show all levels of his game. He thinks that he's going to be the spotlight fighter after tonight, and yes, you are. Because you're the guy that failed Australia. I love Jack Jenkins. I'm fucking joking, but Gabriel Santos, this guy's fucking great. This guy's great. If you go to a split decision with Lerone Murphy, Lerone Murphy's pretty close to fighting for a title. David Onama's fighting Giga Chikadze. It's like, I should have known. I should have saw the fucking signs, but that's just a bad pick for me. Great grappling. Great grappling. Even in the stand-up, Gabriel Santos was just rocking Jack Jenkins back and forth. Jack Jenkins, outside of the first round, really had nothing for him. He gassed out and he got beat up. So, bad pick on my part. Going into the main card. This card delivered, by the way. This was a great card. The fights were horrible. Probably the worst pay-per-view ever. But it was a great card, to actually watch. On paper, it sucked ass. It was actually dog shit. I know I'm talking very fast. I feels like I'm talking very fast. But like I said, I'm just hyped up. Jake Matthews versus Francisco Prado. Jake Matthews did exactly what I thought he would do. He outworked him. Because if you are Francisco Prado, if you're a prospect in the UFC, and you get outworked by Jamie Malarkey in 2022 or beyond, You're not a prospect. You lost to Jamie Malarkey in a decision. The most unathletic guy I've ever seen in my fucking life. But Jake Matthews, like I said, he was able to put the pressure on. I feel bad for Prado because he's too big for lightweight, but he's too small for welterweight. Some of these big guys are welterweight. They're really middleweights, but they cut so much weight. Jake Matthews is kind of one of them. They just cut so much weight. He's a tweener. He's just in between. I feel bad for him. He is a good prospect. But if you're getting outworked by Jamie Malarkey and people are choosing you, you're a fucking retard. Jamie Malarkey is dog shit. And if you saw that and you still chose Prado, even though Jake Matthews is one of the best volume fighters, you're just a retard. And I got that right. Perfect. Jake Matthews, I said he'd be able to out-wrestle him. I said that he'd be able to outbox him because he has underrated boxing. He did exactly that. There were some moments where I got scared. In the clinch when he would just strike in the clinch for no fucking reason. But he has a good chin. They both have good chins. Prado's very tough, but, like, you got to work on your fucking cardio. Like, I don't understand how you can be a professional athlete and not have good cardio, or at least decent cardio. I understand you're doing crazy. Just don't be a retard. Either have good cardio or don't be a retard and understand, hey, I don't have good cardio, so I'm not going to spend all my cardio immediately. It's common sense, but, you know, they're fighters for a reason. They're not really smart. Jimmy Crute versus Bellato. This was the, you know how I said I went 10-3-1? This is the one. It was a majority draw. If you count the first round for Jimmy Crute, 10-8, I understand. Bellato won the second two. The second was pretty close, but the third, Bellato just ran away. And the reason I said Bellato would win, I was completely right. I was completely fucking right. Jimmy Crute happened to 10-8 him. I said Jimmy Crute would win the first round, and then Bellato would win the second and third, because he has that dog in him. This guy, every fucking fight, he gets beat up, he looks like shit, and then he just gets cleaner. He gets better, while Jimmy Crute, as soon as he loses momentum, the fight's over for him. The fight's over. He's not going to regain momentum. Bellato doesn't start with momentum. He starts with less momentum than anybody I've ever seen in the UFC. He's the worst starter I've ever seen in the UFC. It sucks that it was a 10-8. I should have got this. I should have been 11-3, but it's whatever. You know, it was a 10-8. I'm not going to say it wasn't. Good shit, Bellato. Like I said, I called the fight perfectly. It just happened to be a 10-8, which kind of sucks. But I did want to see Jimmy Crute win. I'm a huge Jimmy Crute fan. You got to retire, bro. I'm sorry. You don't have that dog in you. Or you do have that dog in you, but you're not going to make it, man. And it sucks. It just sucks. Moving on to Justin Tafa versus Talisson Teixeira. This was one of the losses I got. Because I saw Talisson Teixeira's... I just broke a fucking spoon in my hand. I don't know why I have a spoon in my hand, but who gives a fuck? I saw Talisson Teixeira's Dana White Contender Series fight where all he did was being 6'7". He's 6'7", mind you. He's 6'7", amazing reach, tons of power, and all he does as a 6'7" guy with amazing reach is blitz in, fight with people 10 times shorter than him and stronger than him. He fights with him in the clinch, and he eats shots over and over and fucking over again. And I'm like, you know what? I was going to go Talisson, but I went Justin Tafa because you can't take that many shots from Justin Tafa. You can't do that against Justin Tafa. And then this motherfucker says, before the fight, the only reason I looked like that in my Dana White Contender Series fight was to get a contract. When I heard that, I'm like, oh, I'm fucked. You couldn't have said that earlier, man. You couldn't have said that any fucking earlier. Before I locked in my predictions, you really couldn't have said that. Fighters, I can't explain it. Fighters only want to turn up when I pick against them. No, it's even worse, because it's when I want to pick a fighter, but I pick against them because I was like, okay, this fighter has a huge hole in his game. They only ever want to get rid of that hole when I pick against them. And then when I pick them in the future, because I'm like, okay, they fixed that hole, they're great. They want to fucking lose and expose that hole again. I don't understand it. When I bet on people, when I say people, they always just they want to be perfect. They want to be fucking Mr. Perfect. But you know, when I bet against them, they're Leon Edwards, man, throwing head kicks. But I'm okay with this because if Talisson Teixeira gets the fat ass people like Justin Tafa and Junior Tafa out the weight class, I don't give a fuck. I hate Justin Tafa. I hate Junior Tafa. They're both dog shit. They can't wrestle. All they have is power, and even then their boxing isn't good. Justin Taffa is Parker Porter with power, and Junior Taffa is somehow worse than Parker Porter. I hate it, but if Talison Texera, if he's getting these fat ass obese motherfuckers out, Justin Taffa, if he wasn't obese, he's legitimately a light heavyweight. Maybe even a middleweight if he just wasn't obese. I hate heavyweight. I fucking hate heavyweight. I love it. I love top of heavyweight, but bottom of heavyweight is just, it's the saddest shit you've ever seen. And Justin Taffa, if you get finished and you pull an Anthony Smith where you curl up into a ball and just take shots, don't get up immediately after saying, I was still in there. If you could get up immediately after he stops hitting you, why don't you use that energy to get up while he's hitting you so you don't take the damage? Or at least go into a different position, drag him on top of you. Drag him on top of you and defend yourself properly instead of just curling up into a ball and complaining about the finish. You're no better than a fat, diabetic Anthony Smith. God, I'm fucking... Like I said, I hate fat heavyweights. I hate obese people. I'm fat shaming. I just want to say these last two fights, I told you. Let's start with Zhang Weili versus Tatiana Suarez. Tatiana Suarez, the favorite. I begged people to put money on Zhang Weili. Tatiana Suarez is the most undeserving favorite I've ever seen in my fucking life. She beat Andrade with a guillotine. And Montana De La Rosa with a guillotine. Her two best wins were with guillotines. Guillotines don't work against high-level people. They just fucking don't. And Tatiana Suarez, the wrestler, the person who blew out their fucking knee and hasn't fought in a year and a half, you're going to pick her. The person who's never been to 5 rounds. Over Zhang Weili, who's cleared out her whole division, who we know has good cardio, who we know has good grappling, destroyed Amanda Lemos, had a great performance against Yan Jianan, who just destroyed Tabitha Ricci. The person who cleared the whole division besides Rose, and she beat Rose in the rematch. She's the greatest woman. She's one of the greatest women's fighters of all time. When are y'all gonna get off the dick? Just because Sean Strickland says, oh, she trains with me, dude. She trains with Eric Nixie. She's a fucking dog. Don't believe the hype. This is the second time this year that a champion has been underdog, and I've chosen that champion, and I was right. You guys believed Umar would beat Merab, who cleared the whole division using cardio, and you believed Tatiana Suarez would beat Zhang Weili, who cleared the whole division using wrestling and cardio. Oh my, it was so fucking sad, and I was so happy watching it. I was so happy. Tatiana Suarez, I hate how she's built. Crimson chin looking motherfucker. I hate her. I don't hate her. I just hate that. I hate that people are stupid. I hate that people are retards. If you chose Tatiana Suarez to beat Zhang Weili and you bet money on that, you deserve to be robbed. That's natural selection for you. You deserve to be broke. It's natural selection. If you chose Tatiana Suarez because you thought, you know what, even though she won't win, there's a chance she might and I might make money off it, you're also a retard. Natural selection. You're just a retard in general. Going back to what I was saying, I got interrupted for a second. Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland had staph infection. If you chose Sean Strickland and you knew he had staph infection, you're a retard. You deserved a natural selection again. He got 5-0'd by Dricus du Plessis. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I said that he would win, or I said that Sean Strickland would lose, but he would get a round. These guys, they just... I don't get it. I give these guys barely any fucking credit, and they somehow still do worse than what I give them. Granted, Sean Strickland, we know you're a good fighter. You had staph infection. Your main two weapons are defense, cardio, and jabbing. If you take away cardio, you're just a defender and a jabber. And you got 5-0'd by Dricus du Plessis. Maybe 4-1. I thought you won at least a round, but on second thought, it was Dricus. Dricus won that round. He just pushed the pace. Sean Strickland never went off. And I was talking to my brother. I was like, man, Sean Strickland has staph. And he's like, oh, but it didn't affect him at all. He didn't look tired. He didn't look tired because he didn't fucking do anything. Because he knew he had staph. So if he went all out, he was done. I hate fucking retards. I'm sorry. I don't want to call my brother a retard, but it was a retarded take. Dricus du Plessis destroyed Sean Strickland. And people were booing. I understand that fight wasn't great. But it takes two to tango. You know, it takes two to fight. It takes two men. Dricus du Plessis did all he could. Head kicks, spinning back elbows, spinning back fists. Both of those all of those landed. And Sean Strickland sat there with a jab and didn't even check kicks this time. He just sat there with a jab. I understand people talk about Dricus and how his overhand sucks and it looks horrible. Sean Strickland has a worse overhand than Dricus. Another thing, Dricus has the best left leg I've almost ever seen. He'll do a fucking leg kick in a second, a body kick in a second, a head kick in the second. Same setup, same thing, all powerful. And he's just dog shit. Dricus is the best, worst fighter I've ever seen in my life. Honestly, I know Dricus has one problem. Coordination. If he can keep his feet under him and not be levitating every time he throws a fucking jab into a straight, he can really just do a Robert Whittaker and follow a lot of stuff up with a head kick. He would have knocked Sean out if he had his feet set, throw a 1-2, and when Sean was going out the side, throw a head kick. He could have landed that 18 different times. But he's the sloppiest fighter ever. He's great, but he's so sloppy. And he can give me sloppy later, or I'll give him sloppy later. It doesn't matter. Yeah, Dricus du Plessis. I said 4-1. Honestly, you should have listened to me. It's so fucking ironic. The best prediction video I've had recently is the one. It's the video on my channel that has the least amount of views. I'm good at predicting, guys. I'm good at predicting. And this card proved it. This was, like I said, this was the casuals check. This is, do you believe in hype? If you chose Tatiana Suarez, you're fucking a retard. This is another thing of, do you do your research? Do you know your fighters? Do you do your research, know your fighters? Because if you did the statistics, almost every fight went as it should. I shouldn't have picked Justin Tafa, but almost every fight went as it should. It is what it is. It's the casual check. But yeah, Dricus du Plessis, 4-1 Sean Strickland. Hamzat's next. I don't want to see Imavov. I don't care. Hamzat is next. He beat Whittaker. It's fair. I know Imavov beat Brendan Allen and Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya already lost. You know, Adesanya, it's still a good one. Fuck it, it's still a good one. Sean Strickland, words. Please stop being like, okay, we're gonna go to war for you. We're gonna kill these guys. We're gonna be the fucking best, and doing absolutely nothing. Throwing a jab, throwing a teat. You didn't even throw your fucking specialty teat. You do a jab and a sloppy overhand, and that was it. That was actually it. Honestly, the most entertaining thing that happened was you broke your nose. You're a dog. You're a fucking dog for breaking your nose and then readjusting it. That it really reminded me, if you know what I'm talking about. Rory McDonald versus Robbie Lawler. I saw that when I was a kid. I love that fight. But it's always traumatized me because his nose was literally gone. Sean Strickland reminded me of that. He's a dog for that, right? He's a dog for that. He didn't push the pace. He didn't do anything. It was literally Dricus just toying with him and Sean Strickland being like, okay, I'll throw a jab and an overhand from time to time. Listen to your fucking coach. Your coach gave you great advice, Sean Strickland. I understand you're in the ring. It's a different feeling. You have staph infection. I understand completely. Listen to your coach. He knows what's right. He gave you good advice. The advice would have worked. And Dricus du Plessis, get fucking coordination, please. You throw... As much as I am just neutral towards Sean Strickland, because I don't hate him, but I don't like him either, he's fucking right. You fight like a tard. You fight like a Down syndrome retard. Not that those two things have anything in common. You can be Down syndrome, but not a retard. You can be retarded, but not Down syndrome. So they don't have anything in common. Don't catch me on that. He was right, Dricus. You need coordination. You can't be fucking... Your jabs and 1-2s are Superman punches. You can't be doing that every time. You can't be doing that every fucking time. I mean, you're champion, but middleweight's kind of shit. Middleweight's kind of shit if we really look at it. It's the new era. It's the new fucking era. It's Chao Barajo, it's Hamzat, Imavov. I'm sure Brendan Allen will be in there somewhere. It's the new fucking era, middleweight. And really in general, it's the new era. Good shit, Dricus. Like I said, I did good on this card. I'm very happy. This was a casual check. You're a fucking retard if you chose Tatiana Suarez. I can't stress that enough. I begged y'all to pick Zhang Weili. I said that she would win dominantly because I called that fight perfectly. I said Tatiana Suarez would win one round and the rest will be Zhang Weili because Tatiana Suarez completely dislocated her knee, blew her knee out before this, hasn't fought in a year and a half, never went 3 rounds. And Zhang Weili, while her striking has gotten worse, her wrestling has gotten better. You saw that. She defended 14 out of 15 takedowns. And Tatiana Suarez just has no boxing. So if you chose Tatiana Suarez, you're a retard. I know I've said that 8 times, but it's how I feel. It's really just how I feel. But that's the video. It was a great fight card. It was a great fight card. While on paper it's the worst pay-per-view I've ever seen in my life, it's a great fight card, and I can't wait for Alex Pereira. I can't wait for that. Another thing, I got so excited when they said we're gonna announce fights. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. They said we're gonna announce the fights, and they announced Steve Erceg versus Brandon Moreno. That has been confirmed for like a month now. Everybody knew that was gonna happen. Everybody knew about that. You should change that fight to Brandon Moreno versus Manel Kape, but you probably won't because they're pushing the Steve Erceg narrative, even though his only win is match. Now I hate Steve Erceg too. I'm just a certified hater at this point, and that's a fucked up thing to say, because it's not great to be a hater, but I am. Yeah, like, subscribe if you enjoy the content. This is probably the most hyped I've been. And it's not even because I'm happy, or it is. It's like I'm happy because the people I hate got proven wrong. The shit I hate got proven wrong. I'm happy. Look, like I said, this card was natural selection. Like, subscribe if you enjoy the content. I'm gonna be making fights to make next tomorrow. It's natural. It's just natural selection, and I'm one of the best predictors, but we'll see if I get credit for it.